There's basically two potential outcomes that could come from these tariffs. So I'm going to spare you the technical explanation because a lot of people have been doing those breakdowns. But here's basically the only way it could go. They backfire majorly. It caused some type of financial calamity, and he just removes them. The markets rebound, everybody stops panicking, and we're back to where we already are. Option 2, it's the largest and most significant financial boom in modern American history. I really do think it is that simple. I think these are the only potential outcomes that could come from this. The greatest thing about these reciprocal tariffs is that it brings all of the people to the negotiating table at once. Basically, in any negotiation, if people are coming to you to negotiate, you have the upper hand. The fact of the matter is that the United States is the #1 market in the world, hands down. Every country is interested in selling and exporting their products here. To remove such a market would be financially devastating to so many countries in so many ways. But in order to preserve their own products and their own manufacturing in their own company, they have all these tariffs on our products. It essentially forces people in those countries to use products that are made domestically. But what it does as a result is it limits the amount of American-made products that will get exported to them. In a lot of ways, it's a smart move because it protects their country. So all Donnie is doing is turning it and now protecting us. And the stock market futures are obviously dismal. The market is going to panic, as is normal. And tomorrow, the stocks will continue to go down. And as a person that holds a tremendous amount of stocks, a large percentage of my net worth, yeah, I wish the stocks wouldn't go down. But if it's for the best interest of the country, who knows how much the U.S. economy and those exact same stocks could benefit in the short and long term as a result of this? Because if you reduce it to something very simple, like the auto industry, for example, 75 years ago, the United States was making 75% of the world's cars. And for every automotive manufacturing job, there's likely 10 jobs that are created around that job here in the US. So what these tariffs do is they force all of these countries to come to the negotiating table, as well as all the independent corporations that export here. Like used German cars, for example. If the US is the #1 or the #2 export market for all of these vehicles, what do they have to do to get Donnie to reduce or change those tariffs? Option 1, that country reciprocates by lowering their tariffs to match ours. Seems only fair. Or option 2, they make a promise to invest here. They say, hey, we're going to build a plant there. If you reduce the tariffs now, we'll be building that plant there for the next 36 months, and then we'll have all our manufacturing there. He says, okay, you make that promise, you put it in writing, and we'll reduce the tariff right now. Boom, it goes away. In my opinion, the adverse effect of downfall or backfire from this is totally worth it. Because think about it, if it doesn't work and it has this huge blowback, adverse effect that becomes lasting, you just take it away. Whereas if it actually succeeds, it could create this huge financial boom. Our manufacturing and a variety of other jobs have been shipped overseas over the course of the last 2.5, 3 decades, which has left places like Detroit, for example, in complete disrepair. There's languishing towns and empty factories all over the US. And this is a result of bureaucrats selling out our manufacturing and whatnot overseas. And then those countries go and create tariffs on all of our goods, so they're getting the benefit of sending stuff to us, but they don't allow their citizens to buy it at the same rate. The only way to reverse multiple decades of bad bureaucratic policy is to do so in one foul swoop. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to take a few steps back in order to take a leap forward. And as much as I don't like the idea of my next vehicle lease being more expensive or my stocks being down for 3 months or 6 months or whatever is the case, I understand that the potential upside of this is far greater than the potential downside. Again, let's say that he leaves the tariffs in place for 90 days. There's 3 months of adverse effects. Then he says, okay, this isn't working. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I'm going to take it away. Let's say it takes another 3 months to then get back to where we are right now, which I don't even think would happen. That's 6 months of down. Then you're back in place. If he was actually to successfully use these tariffs as leverage to get all these countries to reciprocate and lower their tariffs on the imports and exports, invest money domestically in the United States, create all these jobs, manufacturing plants, and the rest. Think about the potential upside boom that would create for the American economy and for American businesses that were now able to export to those countries at a tariff that was reasonable. I've said it before on multiple videos. You often look very, very stupid until you look like a genius. And one of the best things about Donnie is that he's Teflon to bad press. So the fact that all these people are squealing about this, and the leftoids and a bunch of people that don't know the economy from anything and just say, oh, it's a tax, prices are going up, whatever. They just don't understand business. They don't understand negotiation. And to be completely honest with you, I like Donnie's policies, and I would say if I disagreed with this, but I've thought long and hard about it. And aside from the personal short-term negatives, I've been trying to find a way to disagree with this and think that it's bad, but I just can't figure out how it could be. Because in the short term, yes, it looks that way, but the potential upside, if it actually works like I think it will, is massive. I don't care how you look at it, but the US is in the best negotiating position without a shadow of a doubt in the world economic marketplace. And for us to just casually think that one of the world's most notorious deal makers would make such a mistake when he's been literally saying the same thing as in respect to tariffs for the last 30 years, I think is foolish. And it's like, okay, who do you think is right in this situation? Your 21-year-old Gen Z TikToker that's saying no and squealing about it? Or maybe he might be right on this. Because let's not get it twisted. You could think that Donnie is a bad businessman. You could hate him. You could hate what he says, whatever. But you got to think of the Jedi mind tricks type stuff that this dude has done in business over the course of his life that is just remarkable. That you're like, I wish I would have thought of that. To give it the most simple example, it's like Donnie would have to build a hotel and then finance the construction of that hotel, sell out that hotel, put his name on that hotel. And later in his career, not only did he not finance the construction, not build the hotel, not rent out the hotel, not do any of the sales, he would just lease his name, and then they would spend all the money, slap his name on it, and he would just get paid to put his name on it. Zero cash outlay, all the cash inlay, all the benefit by doing nothing. I don't care what you say, but that's a deal maker, dude. So, as I said, I think that this will look real dumb till it looks real smart. And if someone was to turn the table on the fact that our manufacturing and all the rest has been shipped overseas for 30 plus years, how would they do it? How would you suggest that they go about doing it? To me, the only way to do it in any expedient manner, logically, is this. And short-term pain will likely result in tremendous long-term gain. I saw a story today that the pro skater Tony Hawk got offered $500,000 to sell his name and license his name outright in a one-time cash payment for the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater video game. But instead, he decided to take the long-term investment. He decided to take equity in that business, and it ended up being his greatest financial decision ever, as it became a billion-dollar empire and his greatest financial income. Sometimes you just have to trust that a visionary has vision. And although everybody is going to squeal and feel the crunch of what happens now in the short term, I do believe that this will shake out, and when the dust settles, he will be looked at as a financial genius for this move, even though it may not look that way right now. But only time will tell.